to touch base with the ether, with the world. Do I want to touch base with the world? Maybe, we'll see. Let's dive into our first topic, which is Superman. So Superman is going to release on July 11th, but early reviews are in, and it's kind of mixed, okay? Now we're going to look at the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter, right? And see how critics on there, we're talking about the film and whatnot. You said he's hot. He's got a nice strong jaw, He's got a strong face. But compared to Rotten Tomatoes and to our movie reviewers on YouTube, there seems to be like a mixed energy, even within the groups on YouTube. So it's become kind of like something to mixed reviews. And arguably, some people have said it is going to be, or it's similar to the Man of Steel vibe, so to speak, where it like split the fandom to some degree. Now, on Rotten Tomatoes, as we look, it's got 84% on the tomato meter, but the movie is listed to come out in theaters on July 11th, which is this Friday, right? Yeah, this Friday. Looking at some of the top reviews, right? Like looking here, it's kind of, even at the top, there's like a mixture of some of the Certified Fresh and the Rotten Tomatoes as well. Dipping into the movie, because I haven't seen it yet. I do want to see it, but I haven't seen it yet. David Sims from The Atlantic says, this Superman is, more than anything, concerned with our society's struggle to accept the possibility of inherent goodness. The result is an optimistic movie, one that sees a hopeful way forward for both Superman and the world's other caped men and women. And he left that on he left that today. He left that actually today. I know that this movie, from what I've seen in the trailer and from what some people have said in the reviews, it looks like this movie is trying to do a lot. And there's a lot of different characters and a lot of different things. It's kind of feeling like, in Spider-Man 3 or Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they were just doing a lot of things. And I think that that's similar. Well, it's Man of Steel. Well, Man of Steel wasn't, but Batman v Superman was trying to do a lot of things at once, right? You said look for female reviewers because James Gunn makes choices with female characters. Oh, we'll check some of that. We'll look for some as well. We have Radayan Simone Pillai. Let me know if I say any of these names wrongs because it happens. It's possible, right? He said Gunn doesn't just borrow from his own Guardians movies, but in his dumpster diving ways, scathing, salvages elements from Superman 3 and Supergirl. It's all lightly amusing and likely expensive mayhem that will please fans of the director and the genre. So I am a little mixed in regards to my understanding of this critique, because you've deemed this as, spoiled, like splat, like trash, essentially. But what you said was that fans are going to like this movie. So he does have a full review that's available, but it's kind of like this excerpt is kind of like confusing. It seems more so like people would like the movie. If you like Superman 3 and Supergirl, then maybe you would like this movie. So I guess I'm kind of confused as to why he rated it like this, but I digress. Oh, goodness, dropped my phone. You said define a female. Okay, so we have Kristen Lopez from Substack. She says it's far from a perfect movie and isn't even necessarily a great one. Oh, but if it's okay, hold on. Why, if you said it's not a great movie, why do you have a fresh tomato? But it's the funnest time I've had watching a Superman movie in a while. Hmm. I feel like that does track with James Gunn because at a James Gunn movie, you're going to have fun. You're going to have some fun. But she said it's not necessarily a great one. So, but you gave it I guess it was really fun. It must have been so fun for you to be like, this movie is not necessarily a great one, but I'm going to give it one of these. Okay. Billy Melissa says much of Gunn's film feels like a sequel, like we needed something before this one to complete the whole picture. Okay, so incomplete, which does kind of track with a comment on, is it on, Christian Harloff's video where he reviewed the movie, and somebody had said that it feels like, let me see if I can find it. There was a comment where somebody said it feels like there was like, oh yeah, my only complaint is that I feel like 20 to 30 minutes was cut out of the movie to fit 2 clean hours. So there's been this consensus that it feels like there are missing parts to the movie, and that there was more to the movie than what was actually presented or shown. And you can feel that with a lot of films where you're like, okay, clearly something was cut out of this, because the way that this started and the way that this completed feels like there's something missing. So it could very much be just like that, right? Let's read this on. Oh gosh, Ty Burr says the movie is a disaster. Goodness. A snarky, jokey, over-designed, overwritten, over-digitized, over everything misreading of all we think the cultural property called Superman stands for. Now, I did see some comments in the ether about the tone of the movie, which it feels like we're either one of two things are happening. Either we're in a realm of nobody's ever going to be happy no matter what you do, or in a realm of people haven't really struck. And I say as of recent movies, and this includes the Man of Steel movies. This includes the James Gunn era as well. But like striking the right tone when it comes to a Superman movie. I know the complaint a lot with Man of Steel was how serious the tone was. It was extremely serious. It was not funny at all. And then how people felt about that. But in this one, it seems like people are saying that there's a difference between the movie not being serious and Superman not being taken seriously, which seems to be the complaint that I've been seeing in a bunch of comments across on YouTube about how the tone of Superman versus the tone of the movie contrast, but also don't fit the tone that people want from a Superman movie. I did see Man of Steel. I have not seen this yet. It's not officially out until Friday, although some theaters you can watch it now, available in certain theaters right now. I don't know. Superman wasn't really, he's not my favorite of DC. Is it possible to make a good Superman movie? That's the question that I pose. Is it possible to make a good Superman movie? And if so, how? What would the tone of Superman be? What would the tone of the movie be? Would it be fun? Would there be funniness? Would there be laughter? Would it just be serious? Would it be a mixture of both? How can you make The Boy Wonder be something that people want to see? Outside of circumventing the trope of the glasses, the Clark Kent versus the Superman thing, which has always been a thing that people use to make fun of the ridiculousness of the comics of Superman and how his disguise and all that stuff. So, I don't know. Froke said it can be like a man tries to be good in modern times. Uh, Maybe. My thing is, I guess the question would be, is that extremely difficult for a man to be good in modern times? Maybe if they wrote where there was a lot of things up against him, but that makes sense. In Man of Steel, a big complaint I had is that there were a lot of things that didn't make sense with his path, with his father. That whole scenario did not make sense. I guess you would have to see, how can you make this man have issues but try to circumvent those issues and choose to be good? Maybe that's where you can find a good movie, in the fact that he chooses to be good. Not that he's just inherently good, but he chooses to be good. Like, he can naturally see where he could maybe take a path, to not be as good as of a person, but he chooses to be good. I don't know. Rafael Guzman says the new DC universe gets off to a promising but unsteady start with this reboot. So they have a mixed review. Is there a medium tomato? Like, not all the way rotten, but some of the way rotten. Let's look at the audience. What does the audience say? Okay, Scotland, I guess the whole country, says that they loved the movie. Felt magical, and little details of including Will Reeves and Justice League struggles between Luthor and Superman are very real, funny in parts and serious in others, seems also relevant to present time, which we need to remember. There's a difference between the critic's voice and the audience voice, because the audience, which is the greater, grander group of people, normally a lot of times do not align. What critics feel about something normally can be extremely different than what the audience actually feels about something. So, sometimes it aligns, sometimes it doesn't. Okay. We have Carlos B, who gives it 4 out of 5 stars, with a lived-in storyline, moving away from the typical origin plot point. Gunn Superman is refreshingly lighthearted. The Man of Steel isn't overpowered, and he needs help from his friends. Casting is great and believable, and Crypto steals every scene he's in. It's a fun time. So maybe it's a situation where how the critics really wanted an origin point and felt like we were just dropped in the middle, and the audience seemed to like that we weren't in an origin point and we were just dropped in the middle and didn't have to do the whole start over again type of thing. Let's see like a bad review, and just to see what someone's thinking, and then we'll move to our next topic. But James T says disappointed. For the most part, oh, kind of stupid. Wow. But it did have its moments. I think the only ones worse were the Christopher Reeves Superman 3 and 4. It seems it really could not figure out what it wanted to be. Part action, film, part comedy. It failed on both parts, but some jokes were pretty good. Wait until Netflix or Prime or something like Max. It's probably going to come on Max. It's probably not going to come on Netflix or Prime. And then they go on to continue. So it seems like there is there are mixed reviews. Some people really loved it. Some people really didn't like it. And some people think that some people are just crazy, But it does come out this Friday. If you've seen it, let me know what you think. If you haven't seen it, are you going to see it? Are you excited about it? Let me know all of that, because I'm interested. I'm not excited to see Superman, but I'm interested. But yeah, let me know.